Cheers, Roger. Good to see you in the chat this morning. Shane, Michigan. Look at this. We have people from everywhere in here. Love that. Buck52 says online streamer Amaranth was robbed at gunpoint in her Houston home with attackers demanding Bitcoin. I'm telling you, I don't think that this is something that the average person needs to be concerned about yet, but it's coming. So I really, really, really think that every single person watching this show now, later, whenever, you have to be thinking about this stuff. You have to be thinking about this stuff. And I mean, there's a couple different things you can do to kind of prepare for it. And the biggest thing I would suggest is, like, you can talk about Bitcoin. Like, I have no issues with people talking about Bitcoin and wearing Bitcoin stuff and helping grow this network of people and community. But don't ever, 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 under any circumstances, to anybody tell them how much Bitcoin you have. Never. And I'm not talking like strangers that you meet on the street or on a plane. I'm talking like your brother and your best friend and people in your life that you think that you trust, because you never know how that's going to get out. And one thing for sure is that they're never going to forget how much you told them. Right? So let's say that you told your brother that you had 50 million sats, and he's like, okay, that's cool. That's, you're doing pretty well for yourself. But then in 2 years, and maybe between then and now, he might have had a couple beers. He might have told somebody, Jor has this amount or whatever. And then when 50 million sats is worth 10, 20, 30x from today, like, you're putting a huge target on your back, and there's really no way to undo that. That's the problem with it. Once you tell somebody, it's out. So people should not be taking this lightly, honestly. And I know that things will improve. I'm sure we'll get to a point in the future where it's like not even worth it to try to take somebody's Bitcoin, but we're not there yet. I'd say like 95% of people have their Bitcoin security at the lowest possible level. So we're going to go through a lot of like really scary, eye-opening times here, I think, for the next couple of years and beyond. And you need to be aware of that. So the last thing I would say to that is that just be aware. I know this is like, for a lot of people, this is kind of a little ways away, but just be aware that there is a way where you can have zero trace of Bitcoin in your house, whether it burns down, whether the government shows up, whether you get attacked by or robbed. There are ways that exist today that you don't have to have a trace of Bitcoin in your house. And that's what I'm working towards. I just got my laminator here a couple days ago. So that's what I'm going to have in place. There's going to be zero trace of Bitcoin in this house. No devices, no paper, no steel, nothing. And I think that that's where everybody should be working towards. And the other part of that too is that you'll still maintain full control and full ownership without having to trust anybody else while doing that. There's a way to do it. And if you've been showing up here every day, it's with encryption. So kind of my plan is I want to have zero trace of Bitcoin in my house. I want to basically have all of my Bitcoin, not all of it, but like, let's say 2, 3, 5% of it on my Aqua wallet on my phone, but that's it. And that's what I'll be able to easily access, whereas everything else will be a little bit more tough for me to access. But that's okay. That's what you want. So again, I'm still going to maintain full control, full ownership over the keys to that Bitcoin without trusting anybody else. But it's going to be away from me completely. So I'm hoping to get there in the next couple months. I have to move a little bit faster, I think, than most people, just because, I'm on the internet talking about this stuff every day. But, if you have at least I wouldn't even say that. If you have any sort of Bitcoin right now in any sort of amount, this is stuff you need to be thinking about. So, I mean, the one thing I would say, and we've had a ton of people reach out in the last couple of weeks, and we're trying to do our best to kind of, get everything organized and get everybody looked after. But if you want to set up a call with myself and Craig, or you want me to send some information about what the services that we offer, just shoot me an email. And this is serious stuff. And we're the only company. Are we a company? We're the only entity that's providing the solution. It doesn't really exist anywhere else. So I know that the demand for devices is going to go up, but I think the demand for what we provide is going to go up significantly. So while you can start thinking about it, start preparing now. It's a very slow process, but it is something that you want to be thinking about today. So just shoot me an email, put SuperBacked in the title of the email, and I'll send some information. And if you're interested and want to get it set up, then we can set up a call. It's don't take this stuff lightly. It's scary, truly. If you're messing up here, you can mess up big time. So anyways, good morning, Laugh Pad, Washington State.